What's going on? Welcome to an exciting early edition of Terra Firma Tuesday, and today we are doing something completely different. We are actually in a single player creative version of our world, and it's an older world save, but it's one that I've been kind of doing some of my planning for the season here. And today we're going to be spending some time here in the world, kind of doing some general planning for the ZetaCraft world. And one of the things that I have been working on here is actually a design for a battleship for Joshua Roman for the Donor Village. He had asked to make the USS Alabama as his home here in Donor Village, so this is something that I have been working on slowly behind screen. Hey Norn says, hey Ricky, it's Bryant. I finally updated my name. Hey, welcome to the stream. Doing something just very different today. But before we do any work on that, which is probably what I'll be working on mostly today, let's head back to our area to get a feel for kind of what I kind of have planned for my village per se. So this is going to be a bit spoilerish for those who haven't really been around too much, but this is kind of my general plans for the area that I have here in my valley. We have our low voltage factory, and I wanted to actually make the medium voltage. I think I've determined I want to make it into two buildings here. So I've got two buildings, just empty shells here, more or less, and going to connect these. One of them will be like the power supply for medium voltage, and the other will be the actual processing of materials. Add another floor or two in here. All work still to be done at some point, but just kind of showing off some of my creative ideas of things that I've been planning behind the scenes for our ZetaCraft season here. As you can see, spawn is a little out of date, but that's okay. It's just working off an older world file. But today we're going to be working on decorating this battleship. I believe, I think that is what I want to work on today, and unfortunately it's going to be a shorter stream today. We've got a lot on the plate IRL, so I can only do probably an hour today, unfortunately. So we're going to just dive right into it and get right to work here on the ship here. I believe that is the plan. Hey Kenzie, welcome to the stream. Streaming during daylight hours? Crazy, I know. What do we think of the USS Alabama so far? It needs more than just shape, it needs color essentially. And that's kind of something I've been working with here and trying to figure out what blocks I want to use for this build here. Just kind of get a peek behind the scenes of how the creative process sometimes goes. Some reason it wanted to take forever to look up the word gray. What are my options? Gray alabaster would be sweet, but that'd be kind of difficult to make. The guns look awesome, thank you. That's literally the only thing I've really worked on besides the general shape. I think they turned out really well. I'm actually quite happy with how that is, and I want to use a slightly, now if I'm not mistaken, a lot of battleships, the deck of the battleships are usually wood, I believe. There's like a wood flooring because it was cheap and easy to make a lot of it quickly, and also weighed less than steel. So I think I want to actually make the flooring here a wood color. And if I go through my planks, what are those are options? The aspen, actually, there's something to like that weathered look of the aspen that may actually be exactly what we're looking for this this color here, to kind of separate a little bit, make it look a little bit different. But I think I like that. What do you guys think? And then yeah, we're gonna go through and we'll fix all of our siding so it makes more sense. This is kind of just a temporary little thing here, so let's do our world edit friend. Replace gold block with TFC, wood, planks, aspen. We'll just do that a bunch of times. Battleship decks during the Dreadnought and World War II era primarily featured thick teak wood planking installed over a structural steel deck, particularly on US Navy vessels. Teak was chosen due to its high durability, resistance to rot, and natural oiliness. Earlier or alternative ships used longleaf southern pine or fir, which required more frequent replacement. All right, well, we have teak. We do. So what if I undo this and then replace that with, oh, it's gonna be AFC wood planks teak. I mean, if we're gonna go somewhat historically accurate, might as well. I like it. So we'll go through and color a bunch. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this, but just try to get a feel for it real quick. I don't need these gun barrels here anymore because I decided to elevate them in my shape. Give me an empty hand to work with. And that tells me that I can then stack this guy like 5. Sure. We'll replace that block with gold. Get a feel for it there. Do we like? Let me extend this guy. But overall, I think that color actually looks pretty good. I think we're gonna go with that. I like it a lot. Hey Tegan, welcome to the stream. How you doing today on this early and probably shorter version of Terra Firma Tuesday? Unfortunately, this IRL has had plans of its own for me recently, and I just will not be available this evening to do any streaming as much as I would prefer to be here with you guys. We got to take advantage of the time that we do have, and that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna change the shape a little bit, and we're just kind of getting a feel for the shape. And I think what we've decided we're going to do, actually, once we have the shape finalized, we're going to take a schematic of this whole place and use the schematic cannon to make the build. I think that'll be really cool. It's a shame you can't rotate the direction of the plank texture to run lengthwise. That would be so cool if we could, but alas, Minecraft is not going to be that kind. To do that, I would have to have the ship go this direction, and could I do that? Hold on, let me check my keybinds here real quick for Axiom. Why is my Axiom not working? Cancel. Of course it's not going to work for me today. Why would it be helpful? Maybe use something more metallic. So battleship decks should be wooden, but for the actual guns themselves, I'm not opposed to changing that out with a more metallic looking block. What are our options that we could do in a reasonable amount of time? White metal sheet, metal, sheet. That is made with a white metal sheet. And that's just blocks of concrete and cast iron plates. We can make oh my god, we are definitely doing that. That is super easy to make. A couple blocks and some cast iron plates gives me 32. Yes. And then we can just dye it whatever color we want. The gray would look really cool. All right. Gray metal sheet. Oh no. I've done goofed. Done something I shouldn't have done. So let's see here. There's one. There's that. And then we want the metal sheet. Gray. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. That looks clean. And it'll have the stripes going in the right direction too. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, to do this right, I'm gonna have to like make one of these and then just copy and paste a bunch, I think. Because, you know, Minecraft be Minecrafting. Put that there. There. And then do the same thing on the underside. That looks crisp and clean, and I love it. That was a great suggestion, whoever said it. Let's see here. Boom, boom, that. I like it. Kenzie says, my brother served on the USS Shiloh during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Well, that's exciting. Good for him. Thank you for your service. No Maya picking up the evening shift for TFT. I actually haven't asked him yet, so to be determined. I'm not sure if we will have an evening TFT with one of the Zetas or not, but hopefully one of the Zetas will be available. Egan says black bronze. The black bronze plated is a little too purple. We could use that as like an accent color for a few things, but I don't think yeah, I think that's just not necessarily the look we're going for here. So let's position. Why would it do that to me? Let's see if I do copy, paste. Nice. All right, well, I'll go through and update all those, but I like that a lot. That'll look nice. Now, for the actual side of the ships, let's see here. What does black steel look like? That is a great question. It's kind of plated. Let's you guys are making me rethink all of my decisions right now. So what we're gonna do is figure out which one we like the best and go with that. The only downside to the black steel is the fact that it has literally those hard lines around the blocks that just kind of make it look out of place. You know what I mean? Like that checkered look. So yeah. As much as I like the black steel, like the main center of the black steel, that hard border around it really takes away from what we're trying to do here. So not in love with that decision at the moment. Are there other... That's a black steel plated. What if I did the block of black steel? Just checking it out real quick, making sure. It might be okay for the body of the turret. That's actually... You're not wrong there. But what does this look like? Ooh, even worse. Yeah, that is not the answer right there. But for the body of the turrets, maybe. Still, I don't like the border of that block. What other options do we have? Yeah, stainless steel. That's something I don't even have yet. Why not? What is this guy? And how stupidly expensive will that guy be? That's not terrible. But how do you make it? Just steel ingots being molded together? Okay. That's a maybe. We'll get that a maybe. Wrought iron. I was thinking using the wrought iron actually for the sides of the ships itself. That was a thought I had. Let's figure out some color palette things here, and you guys are being super helpful actually with the color palette decisions here, because this is like the hardest thing for me, is figuring out exactly how I want to look. Once I have a general color palette, decorating gets a lot easier in my opinion. Raw iron plated. What the heck is going on outside? One moment. There's the snow removal crew is here. It's like I heard machinery in my front lawn and I was like, what is happening? They're removing the snow. That, tell you what, this is under TFC, replace gold block, TFC, metal block, wrought iron. Whoa. It's got a lot of grid pattern. It's very gritty. The bridge? Yeah, we'll get to that. I don't think I love that. What if we try Reg Tech CDU metal? Oh god, what is this under? Material blocks? We're gonna see how well I know my world edit commands. Ooh. I didn't think it was possible to be worse, but that is definitely worse. Uses for the top. That is a possibility that this is. Have that kind of be like the ring around the top. I could get behind that. Yeah. Try finding a smooth version. Try. There's only a finite number of blocks available to us that would do that. This is just not it though. Hey Orca. What if we did? So now we're going to replace that with PFC metal. What is the steel plated? Hold on. PFC metal block steel plated. It's a little bit more subtle, but it is very dark. We have concrete, making ships out of concrete, not advised. Actually, fun fact, during World War II in the Pacific Theater, they actually had a concrete barge that they used to make ice cream to give to the troops. So while the Japanese army was actually starving in various locations of their battlements across the islands, the US Navy had a barge that they were taking from ship to ship that literally its sole purpose was to make ice cream to increase morale for the US Navy, which is just bonkers that they took the time to do that. And Ricky, how do you know that? I am full of what is known as useless information. That is how I know that. I think the black steel is a little too dark. But the steel, I don't mind the steel. I think it's subtle enough that it won't look as gritty. Gold block. Normal steel hull, black steel trim. Imagine being excited to receive your deployment assignment to go fight a war, and you get ice cream barge as your deployment. But they did, and it was making, oh, I think they said at the height of the war, they produced something like 500 gallons of ice cream a day, which is insanity. They're just doing this in the middle of the ocean. Could you like just imagine that? have the little ice cream barge over in this part of the lake. All right, so I think don't hate that. I think you're right. Using the black steel for a little bit of accent trim is not a bad idea. Let's do that. EFC metal block black. Somehow didn't replace these ones though. All right, it's kind of coming together there. I don't hate that. What do you guys think? There's something that we can work with there? I think so. Okay. Now for the bridge. Right. We've got like a general shape here, but we need to like actually make this thing reversible. And since we've kind of determined that the steel plated block is going to be our block of choice here. I can't wait to tell my whole family about the ice cream barges. Look it up. It's a fascinating story. Like, normal steel has a smooth variance. Sorry, I'm just looking through the blocks here. Could do some steel framing. That could look good. Bunch of tools. Can use crates and drums for a little bit of accent. That. Oh God. You ever have an idea and like immediately regret having said idea? You see where I'm going with this ridiculous idea? Imagine an entire ship made out of steel crates. This would be so expensive. Oh God. But I'm thinking about it. Is that too busy? Follow up. With the way I like that better than the crates, but do I like it better than the existing? Steel plate block. That's what this That's what this is, Tegan, the steel plate blocks. Quite literally. Let's see. As he says, the USS Lexington engaged in conflict against Japan in the Battle of the Coral Sea, and the crew was forced to abandon the ship after she was rendered inoperable. 2,735 sailors were evacuated, but a few were late to the lifeboats because they stopped at the freezers to raid the last of the ice cream before abandoning the ship. I fully believe that. The steel plate block. Like that's... Are you talking about this guy? That might... No seams, but it has like weird lines. What do we think? Do we like this better? What are we thinking? I think I like that better for up here, but I think I like the steel plated blocks for the actual hull just from a color standpoint. Ooh, vents. Yeah, that could be a good... Honestly, this could be good for these guys. Yeah, it's definitely a vent block. I think we stick with these guys. I think that's... I heard a quack. It's Kenzie's duck that Maya killed, I think. Are we happy with this? I do think this will look really good on these guys. I could work there. Add some like accent vent things back here. All those ducks around the lava mountain. Like, what are you guys doing? It would be unbearably hot up here. Why? No, don't do it, duck. Well, we are creative, so duck spawn egg, go. Look at all those ducks. Sure, I won't regret that decision later. Let's see here. Not that. So I think this is going to be our whole design. Tips up there. Steel plated up here. Welcome to Duck Mountain. Population, a bunch. Maybe a baker's dozen. That's what we're going with. Sorry, my wife just texted me if I wanted her to bring me home some lunch, and I think the answer to that should always be yes. What do you guys think? I think lunch is usually a good idea, personally. Does anyone else get an ungodly amount of spam phone calls saying, we would like to refinance your house, or, you know, you've been pre-approved for a loan for $10 bajillion at an interest rate of 300%. Call us now for more details. And it's like, why? Just let me live my life in peace. Just me? I hate that kind of stuff. Drives me up a wall. Alright, so deck will be teak wood. I like the teak wood a lot. I like the siding here. Now we need to kind of figure out what happens next. You answer one wrong phone call and they're calling every 30 minutes. That is the truth. I do the interior first. All right, I've got like just general shapes here, but it's time to like turn these general shapes into something more real. So what if I'm probably going to do like one side and then I'll like invert it onto the other, because most ships, is my understanding, are pretty much the same on both sides. Yes, it's the lazy way to go about this, but I don't think anyone's going to complain. So let's see. Don't need that block. Third turret. So the reason it has these turrets here is the inspiration pick for this ship is the USS Alabama. So I am actually using an actual reference of which ship I am choosing to do this one, and the reason I'm doing that is specifically the boat that Joshua requested when he had paid for the donor request. So I am going to try and stay true to the request for that reason. So some decisions will be based solely off the fact that that's how the Alabama looks, even though not all battleships are the same. That is the one we're using today. So if you want to look up the USS Alabama, that is the ship we're using today. But I do agree, like I feel like there's space for another turret, but I am staying true to a reference here as much as I can with a Minecraft reference per se. I have a lot of empty space down there, and that will all stay empty for a while because that's where like all the equipment will go when we go to do something. So let's say bars. And I think I want stuff like that. And then these guys will be plated blocks that don't look quite right. Tempted to build the hijacked COD yacht map for some PvP action. This is feeling very naval. Well, Maya did say that he wanted to do a Call of Duty style mini game within our Terrafirmagreg world. And if we add a bunch of rooms and things eventually to this build, then we very well could do something like that, which could be kind of cool. Not sure how practical it would be, but it would be cool. There's that guy. The stars have aligned. It's all coming together. Let's see. I think here that and framed. We need our frame blocks. What are our options today? Like this guy. That looks kind of clean. I actually kind of like that. Now, I openly admit I am taking some creative liberties here because at the end of the day, this is still Minecraft. And there is a finite number of things that we can do with it being Minecraft. So I hope you guys don't mind that, but here we are into lower command structure 1. I'm going to say this is where the gunnery guy has for determining what needs shot where. Not sure if that's a real job, but here we go. Hey Eon, welcome to the stream. We are going to have a much shorter stream today, so I apologize in advance for that. But IRL has just not been kind to us this year, and I have prior engagements I have to take care of, unfortunately. Yeah, we actually had a I don't know if I should say, but we did have a death in the family this weekend, so I do have places I do have to be this week, unfortunately. And it's only February, no kidding. Yeah, this year has not been kind to the family. But we'll get through. I think I want this guy to be that. I think I actually kind of like that. Actually, no, I've changed my mind. I like the middle one. But the side framed. It was anticipated, so I don't really want to go into details about it, but needless to say, we are on a short availability today. Oh. That looks nice. Yeah, ooh. I kind of like that better. That fits the space pretty well, actually. But then it doesn't connect. Do we care? No, it's fine. Ooh. That looks good. Oh no. Fell through. Let's see. I gotta check my reference again. That's like, yeah. Why is it you can never find your same reference picture twice? I swear. So I actually think I may have made this a little too big for this area. Appreciate that, Kenzie. Thank you. Let's see. So it looks like if I look at my US Alabama reference image, open image in new tab. Let me zoom. I want an image that I can zoom in on. That's so much to ask for. All right. Honestly, as I'm looking at this, it looks like right here we have like some sort of stack funnel kind of thing that comes out. We'll use that. Like there. How do we like that? If someone would have downloaded the reference picture the first time, that would have been helpful. But we can kind of make like a funnel-like look with these blocks, and that actually doesn't look too bad if I'm being honest. Two. Back, 3 down. Beautiful. For some reason, right clicking that eliminates it. So not cool. All right, we got something coming together here a little bit. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but it is something's coming together here. Why? There we go. Different in that corner there, but we'll come back to that. Okay, and on top of that guy will be up here. It's kind of like a little eagle's nest kind of thing. That looks pretty clean, actually. Liking that. A little bit of that. And then we can put one of these guys like that. Oh yeah. It is all coming together. Probably made this area a little too big, but it'll work for what we need right now. Hey, look, sky. Two. Oh yeah, the shapes and angles that this mod pack allows you to have makes building so interesting. Like you can do some pretty cool things. No lie there. Let's so it actually looks like there is an overhang here. And if I'm being honest, I do feel like this whole room needs to be shifted up like 3 blocks. I feel like it's just a little too low. So we're gonna make an executive decision. Boom. Oh, 1 and 2. Move 2 up. Now it can actually look like it's looking over the guns. That's kind of what it looks like in the reference there. So I think that looks better. I'm gonna say, yeah, I think what needs to happen is really, it needs to be more like here for where that edge begins. I should say the roof. I think it needs to be a 2 tall roof, not a 3 tall. I think that's what's screwing me here on the scaling here. If I move all of this down 1, move down 1, one down. Yes. And then just have oh, wish I could get my Axiom to allow me to shift to the different tools. But that feels more like how the spacing should look like. Yeah, we'll do that. 3 Blackhawks just flew over in tandem. Well, that's not terrifying at all. So I used to work in downtown Cleveland, in Ohio. And every year on Labor Day, they would host a air show there. And usually the week before the air show, they would be doing like their practice runs around the city and stuff of all the things. And so we'd be out sitting at lunch just because the place we were working at had like a little park next to it, so we could go eat our lunch outside. And while we were eating lunch outside, be able to just sit there and just watch the air show every day while they were practicing. And there is just something uncanny about watching, or like unsettling about watching like these FA-18s just coming way too close to the buildings while doing these ridiculous maneuvers all day long. It is cool to see though. But yeah, unbelievably loud is a true statement right there. Let's say here, we're going to add a stair. Let's peek. Why not? Probably gonna need some slabs too. Whoop. And then that. Bring him down. Kind of making like this little hidden stairway in. I used to work next to the airport. They do an air show every year. The years where the Blue Angels came are the best and loudest. So the one in Cleveland, they would alternate years. The Blue Angels would come on like the even years, ending with even numbers, and then it was the Air Force's equivalent of it. The I'm blanking on what that plane was called. Was it the Hornets? The Super Hornets, I think. I believe they would alternate between shows, but they both did fantastic shows. It was a great time to see. That is coming together pretty well. We'll put him in like that. Thunderbirds, that's it. Yes. Thank you. I don't know why I struggled so hard to remember that. It had been quite a few years since I've been to one, to be fair. Take advantage of these plate blocks because I can. Then we'll say the floor here. Probably be something. Oh, let's go home and watch Top Gun after. So, fun fact, I didn't actually ever see Top Gun until, was it Top Gun Maverick came out, was that last year, I think? And my wife and my brother-in-law were like, let's go see the new Top Gun movie. And I was like, do I need to see the first one first? And they looked at me like, are you crazy, having not seen it? So we literally, I watched Top Gun for the first time, I think it was last year. And then we got in the car and went to the movie theater to watch Top Gun Maverick immediately following. So I got to watch them both back to back on the same day for the first time. Not saying that's the recommended way to go about that, but that's what I did. That looks pretty. Then we'll do a little bit of this and that. Back to down. Oh yeah. I love it when a plan starts coming together. And it looks like I am going to get a smokehouse barbecue burger for lunch today. So that's a win in my book. Is that getting a little fat on the sides? Not really. It's kind of what it looks like. So, we'll go with it. If anything, I may have brought this guy in too far. I think they need to move. Move one that way. Yes. That'll work. Highway to the danger zone. Do, 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 do. I knew the music, I just had never seen the movie. So, fun facts about Ricky. I was late to the game on the Top Gun thing. And what's really funny is we'd watch the movie Meet the Parents, and they would make these Top Gun references in the movie. I had no idea what they're talking about. It's just no clue, and I just never said anything about it. It was like, must be important. Oh well, moving on. Hypno just say, ooh, nice boat. Thank you, Hypno. I've got about 10 more minutes, and I'm going to have to call it today, unfortunately. I know it's a very short stream today. But it just is what it's going to have to be today. This is a war vessel. Thank you, Kenzie. Let's get it right, please. Ooh, we could do some fun ladders too. We could do like the steel ladders around. Those are fun. Not on that though. Like have like these little. That adds a little something, I think. Oh, we can have fun with this. I'm gonna be spending the next like 2 weeks decorating this thing. I just know it, but oh, I'm gonna like this thing when it's done. I'm already very happy with how this is coming together, and I haven't really spent that much time with it, but overall, really liking what we're doing here. I'll have to clean up the flooring here. Add a bunch of more details in this stack tower here. There's a lot of radar stuff. But overall, there is definitely a vision coming here. Life. I'm pretty sure we do. Yes, we have Life. Why do you ask? The iron greenhouses could be interesting. We could also, there should be ice cream in that one. Ice cream. Vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate ice cream all do exist. As well as cookie dough, which is the ice cream we all actually want. So yeah, ice cream coming soon. I think that is a true story right there, Kenzie. Absolutely. But I think we're going to call it there on the ship real quick. And before we head off, I will show you some of the things I have been planning over at my base. Just while we're here real quick. So I've been kind of laying out where I want to put some buildings here. This one I'm going to change into that silo. So I have to change the shape of this guy here. But I did say I wanted to rebuild my storage silo anyways. And I think I'm going to do it more into this building here. I think it'll look kind of cool like that. We've got these two buildings, which are going to be my medium voltage buildings. I'm going to have probably this be my power supply for medium voltage, and then this will be the actual, or sorry, other way around. This will be the power supply for medium voltage, and then I'm going to have like underground lines going into this one, and have this actually be my medium voltage factory space. And it's going to be at a 45-degree angle, which will be a nice fun little challenge, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to challenging myself to do that. Up here is where I'm going to be keeping my war balloon, and eventually if I ever make a plane, a little hangars for it with a little runway. I'll probably put another like lighthouse tower here and another building right here. And then the big dig thing, people had said I need to do like a Fallout themed idea. So this is all going to be like a Fallout vault inside here, and I still have to decorate all of that, but I really like the idea of having an underground Fallout vault for the later stages as well. So I thought that was a really cool little idea right there. So that's coming soon. Also with the bridge here that currently goes to nowhere, I'm going to build a little building here, and this is going to connect to that chain network system, so that it's going to have the chains come out of here, but that could be your way in and out of the area to connect to the chain network that's all throughout our spawn area here. So that's going to be added as well. I want to dig out this river so it connects to my lake I have. I'm going to add a bridge here, and then probably another bridge right there going across that little river. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this building yet. I just kind of threw a building in the same style and just thought it looked cool. But I don't have a set plan for what's going to go in that building yet. But it could be medium voltage. If this is my medium voltage power, that could also be medium voltage overflow, where I put like the basic machinery in here and put like my medium voltage EBF in there or something to that effect. So that is kind of what I am thinking for my base so far. Hopefully you guys think this place looks cool. This is all going to be coming in the not too distant future. Still got to do a lot of work here to kind of finalize some things, but this is kind of what I was thinking for the space. And then if I get super ambitious, I was thinking about making a giant hurricane cloud up above the sky here, because that looked really cool. So we'll see if I ever make this happen or not, but it was an idea I had at one point in time. So yeah, just a couple things that I was working on. No big deal. just little things. No big deal. I've been a little busy behind the scenes, but unfortunately I am going to have to call it there today. I'm sorry that this week's stream was a much shorter stream, but hopefully next week we will be back to our regularly scheduled Terraforming Tuesdays to be able to get much more into it. And I do plan within the next week to start working on the medium voltage buildings and equipment and starting placing them in these buildings and such. So this will be the next things that you'll probably see in the main ZetaCraft world. So that's kind of where we are right now. I want to thank you guys for being here. Once again, sorry for the shorter stream. We will be back to normal stream next week. And if I do get some free time, I will try to stream this weekend, but I just can't guarantee that I will be available to or not. So keep your eyes out on the channel for if we do manage to make one happen or not. Otherwise, I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good one, everybody.